we're going to talk about one of the things that is near and dear to my heart, which is creating content and becoming somebody that people know, like, and trust. We live in a world now where it is easier to grow our businesses than ever before. It's easier to make to make an impact on people. It's easier to get our names out there, to get our message out there, and it's all because of these guys right here. I said yesterday, Bill and I have been officially partners for nearly 2 years now, which is crazy how fast it's gone. And we did an event 2 years ago, almost to the week, that we had a couple people that are very prominent faces in this community now joined at that event. Mark Reel was one of those people that joined at that event, and Deedra Haynes, who unfortunately is not here today, but she joined at that event as well. And
I'm online, Coach.
What's up, Deedra? Everybody say hi to Deedra.
Hi,
Hey, Deedra, how's it going? So Deedra sent me a video yesterday that I want to play for everybody, because this video, I love this video because it kind of like hammers home like 3 different points that we're trying to make here. So for me, creating content, I believe, is the number one way to make people know, like, and trust you. And we hire people and we buy things from people that we know, like, and trust. Let me ask you a question. Who here before this event has never met me before? Put your hands up if you've never actually met me in person before. Okay, cool. Now, put your hands up again if you kind of felt like you already knew me before you came to this event. That's a pretty decent number of hands, right? And the reason why is because I create so much content. Now, it's not just me. I'm not just this likable guy with this magical ability. I create a lot of content. But Deedra came into the program, and Deedra, what were you at when you started with us?
my revenue was 200,000, but I certainly wasn't bringing that home because of all the expenses.
And now you're going to do what, 2 million this year?
Close to 2 million.
Close to 2 million this year, right? So that's in 2 years. But what's cool, give Deedra a round of applause. What's awesome is that Deedra, one of the things that I love about Deedra is that she does exactly what we say to do. Like every single thing that she hires people, she makes her budget, she makes her vivid vision. It's funny. My favorite story about Deedra is that she bought a Tesla. And she called her coach and said, "What color is your Tesla? Because I'm getting the same color. I'm getting the same color Tesla as you, right?" Deedra sent me a video yesterday, and can we cue up that video real quick? I want to show you guys this video because Deedra. Has anyone seen Deedra's social media? She creates a lot of content on social media. So she sent me this video with one of the builders in her new home. And team, if we could throw that video up on the board.
Facebook family, I am here with Jordan because he's going to be putting in my shower in my home this morning. And when I walked in, he said, "Wait a minute, I think I know you," right, Jordan?
Right, yeah.
What did you say?
Do you have a bunch of, you have that video floating around on social media?
I see it all over social media.
You know what I'm talking about? I'll show you. I gotta say.
We'll have to show you.
Yeah.
So listen, we're all about helping fathers, and we're all about promotion. So I'm so glad that someone outside of me know that my video is floating around. So someone who has seen my video on social media, helping fathers, promoting fathers, because we don't really get along with bitter baby mamas. Now, we like y'all and we'll help y'all. But if you're bitter and you're angry at the baby daddies, no.
No bueno.
No bueno. No bueno. All right, Jordan, say bye to the people.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, so a couple of things I want to talk about there with Deedra. So first of all, when you come into the program, it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of video. Like, is anybody shocked right now that I'm up here telling you that you should be doing videos and you should be creating content, But so Deedra went in, she created it, and is that, I don't know if it's serendipity or I don't know what it is, but she's in the house that's under construction that she's buying because she did all the stuff that we've told her to do, the stuff that she was afraid to do. She created videos. Somebody in her house, which if you look at those two, they don't look like each other, right? So it's a different demographic, and but her exact target audience is men, right? So in her house that she's buying, because her firm's going to do $2 million this year, the guy building her bathroom is like, "Wait a second, I know you from social media." And it's crazy because that's the power of creating content. That's the power of creating video. That's the power of being consistent, right? But not only that, but also the fact that she created all those videos is what allowed her to be building the house in the first place and be able to buy that Tesla for cash and have a law firm that's grown 10 times in 2 years, right? So that's why I really just hammer home this stuff. That's why I talk about video so often, about why it's so important to be up here creating content and doing all that stuff. So today we're going to talk a lot about not just video. We're going to talk about what's the actual strategy to get it done. Who here is doing video? Put your hands up if you're doing video, really tall so I can see. A lot of times people put hands up like this and I can't see. Straight up. All right, cool. All right. Who here is not doing video but know you should? Hands straight up in the air. All right. Well, 2024 is going to be the year of video for you, right? Because what ends up happening when people know, like, and trust you, and the way that you get people to know, like, and trust you is you put yourself out there, you help them solve many small problems over and over and over again. Now, one thing that I hear all the time is, yeah, but I want to be professional. I just want to be professional. Like, I feel like I'm not going to be professional. Like, Deedra lets her personality shine, right? Did you guys see how, like, Deedra did not seem like the stuffy attorney who's sitting in front of the bookshelf like, well, if you need an attorney, you need to call me today, right? Do you guys like that? Like, you guys know what Deedra's personality is based on that video, right? So based on that, what ends up happening is, what do you think happens when people see her personality and they reflect with her personality? They relate to her personality. What do you think happens? Trust goes up, right? Because they're like a real person. They start building rapport because they see it's not just, for some reason, people think lawyers are like, they almost like put lawyers on a pedestal. They think that they're super smart, which you are, and we all know you're smart, but smarter than all of us, right? But people are almost intimidated by lawyers, right? Because what do you see on lawyers? You see the stuffy guys in suits and all that type of stuff. So I was talking to a client one time, and he's like, should I wear a suit or should I wear a tie or a polo shirt, or what should I wear? And he's from Boston. I was like, why don't you wear a Red Sox jersey? Because that'll build way more rapport with the people that are watching your videos than just a suit and tie, because you want to show your personality. So what's cool is that by doing this, it not only makes people know, like, and trust you, it lets people build rapport to feel closer to you, but then what happens is it eliminates all price objections. Because does anyone here do not retainer, or not contingency, but flat rate? That's the word I'm looking for. Does anybody do flat? Or not even flat rate, but just retainer. So does anyone here get price shoppers sometimes? Where, don't you hate tire kickers? So what ends up happening is, when you're the person that they know, like, and trust, then you're the offer. And they'll pay more because they know, like, and trust you. They also won't call your competition, right? So there's so many logical and emotional reasons, both logical and emotional reasons, to create content on a regular basis. The other thing is that I've got 1,500 videos, right? Now, I didn't start with 1,500 videos. I started with one video. And when I first filmed my first video, it's a 3-minute video. It took me 8 hours to film. If I can go from, and like right now, somebody could shout me a topic out right now and I could film a video for you. Like, I could do it. Because of the fact that most people aren't willing to suck long enough to get good at something. Video is the way to go. It makes you a celebrity. I talked to Josh Goldstein, who was another client of ours, and basically people come in his office and he described when people hire him as order fulfillment. It's not a sales consultation. Like, who here wishes it was just basically order fulfillment when somebody comes into your office, right? That's what it is when you do this, guys. I can't remember who I was having this conversation with, but they were saying, well, my videos only get 100, 200, 300 views. So I realized that a lot of people that have videos don't realize all the different things you can use video for, even if you're not getting a ton of views on the algorithm. Because let's be honest, most videos are not going to get, like we don't have anyone that's Mr. Beast in here. You're not going to get 80 million views on your videos, right? My videos on average get 300-400 views, but they're high quality views. They're the right types of views. But there's a lot of other things that you can do for these videos, with these videos, that can make a ton of money for your law firm. So for example, whenever you have a consultation coming into your office, before they come in, the 5 questions everyone's going to ask when they're coming into your office, right? Like, you pretty much know what they're going to ask, right? So why not send them some value videos before they come into the office? Like, you've got these videos sitting there. You can provide value to them before they come in the office. Now, here's why this is important. First of all, there's a theory: if you help enough people if you help someone solve enough small problems, they will hire you to solve the big problem, right? So people come to you because they have problems, and you can get them answers for all those things. But it takes about 5 touches for somebody to really know, like, and trust you. So you want them to get some of those touches before they come into your office and meet with you. Even if it's somebody that calls you from an LSA ad. We're running LSA ads for you. We're running, your PPC ads. We're doing SEO. So if somebody just does a quick Google search, finds you, books a consultation, well, they're pretty cold. Like, they don't necessarily know you. They're coming in. So if you can warm them up by sending them 3 or 4 videos that answer questions and solve problems that they already have, because, there's only so many problems that people have, then what will happen is before they come into the office, they'll already have seen your voice and seen your mannerisms and gotten value from you. And it's weird. It doesn't take that many videos for them to kind of start viewing you like a celebrity. It's really, really weird, but it's really, really true, right? So pre-consultations, you need to have a lot of videos out there so that when people come into your office, they come in and it's not the first time hearing your voice and seeing your voice or seeing your mannerisms and all that type of stuff, right? The other reason for that is that so the other thing you can do is you can use these for follow-ups. So basically, when somebody doesn't hire your law firm, one of the best things you can do is instead of following up with them and saying, hey, just following up, want to see if you're still interested in hiring me. By the way, does anybody actually follow up with people who don't hire you after a consultation? Does anyone not do that? Okay, so make that homework. Make sure that when somebody leaves your office and doesn't hire you, that you're always following up with them. But one of the great things you can do is you can use videos to follow up, because I had this concept called by the way marketing. That's where you follow up with them and you say, thank you so much for coming to my office, sharing your story with me. By the way, and then you provide them with value. So do you guys know who David Buckley is, personal injury attorney? He was in this group for a long time. So he told me a story not too long ago where somebody came into his office. He was the 5th attorney that they had interviewed. And they left his office and they still didn't hire him. It was somebody who, a family member, I believe, was killed by a DoorDash driver. Somebody who's driving for DoorDash got killed. So he sent them an email afterwards, said, thank you for coming to my office. So sorry to hear about what you're going through. By the way, I filmed this video a couple months ago about how to handle insurance claims with gig economy workers. I'm just going to share this with you. Hopefully, it'll help answer some of your problems, whether you hire me or not. Wish you the best of luck, right? They picked him up they picked up the phone and hired him that day, right? So you can use these videos in lots of other contexts to support the fact that you're the best one to solve their problem. It doesn't just have to be they discover you naturally on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or where you ever have these videos, right? So there's a lot of possibility, but like I said, I've got 1,500 videos out there. If you go fishing and you throw one line in the water, maybe you catch a fish, maybe you won't. If you throw 1,500 lines in the water, your odds of catching a fish go up by 1,500 times, because you film a video one time, create a piece of content one time, and it lives forever, right? So that's why this is so important to do. Now, you guys hear the number 1,500, and is it intimidating to anybody? 1,500 videos, how am I going to, I don't have any videos. How am I going to get to 1,500? Here's how you actually do this. The way you do this is you just have to commit to a schedule, right? Because as Vic said before, if you don't have a plan to actually do it, it's not going to work, right? So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about how can we put together a plan so that you have a realistic content creation strategy that will allow you to consistently create videos so that at the end of 2024, you've got a library of several hundred videos that you can use for pre-consultations, you can use for post-consultations, you can use for value videos, you can use for ads, you can use for anywhere you potentially can, a client could potentially get some sort of value and get one step closer to hiring you. That's where these videos can come from, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today in this first session, and we're going to build out a plan a little bit. So before we do this, I want to talk to you about a few numbers, and I've talked about this before. Some of the stuff, like I said, it's stuff that some of you may have heard before, but it's still important. First thing I want to talk about is the number 21. Number 21. So who here wants to be in the top 1%? Put your hands straight up if you want to be in the top 1% in performance as an attorney, in law firms in your market, in finances. All right, everybody here, 1%. All right, so if you want to be in the top 1%, then you've got to be willing to do what the bottom 99% are not willing to do. Now, luckily, that's not that hard because most people are lazy, right? So, 21. I've talked about this before again, but this is really important. If you have somebody if you have a group of people that say, I'm going to create content, or I'm going to start writing blog posts, or I'm going to do a podcast, or I'm going to do anything. Let's say we're going to film videos in this instance, right? Who here wants to film videos in 2024? Put your hands up if you want to film videos in 2024. Okay. Statistically, and I want you guys to understand this number because this is going to be the secret. I'm going to teach you how to rewire the system, right? If 100 people say they're going to start creating content, 90% of those people, 90 of them, will not make it to episode 3, will not create 3 videos, right? So you got 100 people, now only 10 have actually even made 3 videos, right? Now, of those 10, so you got 10 that made 3 videos, of those 10, only one of them, 90% of them won't do it. So only one of them will make 21 videos. So what that means is that if you have 100 people that say they're going to create content, one of them will get to episode 21. One of them will get to video 21, right? So a lot of what I think about when I'm trying to be productive, whenever I'm trying to do anything, is I try to think, okay, what does the majority of people do? And then I just kind of want to do the opposite, right? So because most people, if you want to be in the 1%, you can't do what the 99% do. So what does this tell me? This tells me right here that 99% of people quit before they get to the 21st version of anything that they're going to do, right? Now, is 21 videos really that hard if you do it like on a regular basis? Does anyone feel like it's hard? Pretty easy, right? So we all agree that it's pretty easy, right? So the number one thing that I can tell you right now is that just don't quit. Because 90% of people will not make it to number 3. And then 90% of those people will not make it to number 21. So if you just don't quit. Now, before we get into the tactics, I want to show you one last thing. And some people have seen this again. But this chart right here is the only reason that I'm standing here right now. And this is called the gap of disappointment. And I want to show you how video and content creation goes so that you can understand this, so that when you understand when you're in the gap of disappointment, you know that you know exactly what to do. Let me kind of break this down for you. So when you start creating videos, when you start creating content, what's going to happen is your ROI is going to be high and your effort is going to be low. Now, when we're talking ROI, I'm not talking ROI in terms of finance. I'm talking ROI in terms of excitement of creating the content, in terms of dopamine hits, because what happens is you post a video and it's not normal for you to be posting videos. So people that you're friends with, your friends and family, and people that you see on social media, they see the content and they'll like it and they'll click share and they'll comment on it and be like, wow, great information, right? So when that happens, you get all these dopamine fires and you feel great. At the same time, you're excited about creating content. This is going to be the year. 2024 is your year. I'm going to have 500 videos by the end of this year. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to get all kinds of clients that are messaging me. By the way, Deedra gets 20 messages a day on Facebook because of her videos. 20 messages a day. Who would love to get that, right? So what happens is your ROI in terms of dopamine hits is very high because we all know that you're not going to film one video and get a client from it, right? We all agree with that, right? It took me 4 months before I got my first lead. So the effort's really easy because you're excited and it's not that hard. But eventually what happens is life goes on and work gets in the way, and eventually it starts getting harder and harder and harder and harder because now the shiny object of creating videos is gone. Now you need to create a video, but you also have to do this deposition, or you also have to do whatever, right? Or you've got to take the kids to soccer practice. You've got whatever excuse to not actually do the video. Simultaneously, the ROI of those dopamine hits, because people are getting used to seeing your content and they're not sharing as much and time's going on, and this is probably a period of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, what ends up happening is you're getting low dopamine hits, you're getting low ROI, and you're getting a very high, and it's very difficult to do the videos. So effort is now high and ROI is low. This right here is the gap of disappointment. And this right here is where everybody quits because of the fact that it's really hard, and you're not getting a lot of ROI. However, I had a cheat code. I knew what the other side of this looked like. I knew that eventually the effort was going to go back down because I'd seen this chart before. I saw this from a guy named Rand Fishkin. And simultaneously, when the effort goes down, what ends up happening is after you've done this a while, after you've been building up and building up and building up, the ROI starts going like that, through the roof. And honestly, like if you look at like my company, like it's like that. And this stays like that. And this is why you'll win, because most people quit right here. So I say all of that to tell you that if you guys want to be the number one attorney in your market, if you want to be in that 1%, you just have to do what everyone else is not willing to do. And that's just don't quit. Like you can't fail if you don't quit. I'm not that good at this. I just didn't quit. And that's why I'm here right now. The first thing you need to think about is what are the platforms that you're going to post on? What is your posting goal and how often are you going to post? So what I recommend that you start with YouTube long form videos. And you create YouTube videos. Because once you take YouTube videos, you can then go back and you can break those YouTube videos up into short-form TikTok videos and things like that. And TikTok has worked really well, but YouTube has been my bread and butter. YouTube's been the thing that's really worked well for me in terms of long-term and has worked well for a lot of other people. So the question is, what is your posting goal? Like, how many videos at the end of 2024 would you like to have? Now, I think that the easiest way to do it is to just film a video every day. Just get in the habit of doing it every single day because it doesn't take that long, especially once you get good at it. Like it will take you maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes if you just film a short video, right? Now, in the beginning, yes, it will take you longer. In the beginning, it will be more difficult because, again, you haven't done it enough. The next thing that we need to think about is what are we going to talk about? What content, what topics are we going to talk about, right? Well, the easiest thing to talk about is the stuff that you know people already come into your office and ask you about, right? Like, you remember how I was saying, you know those 5 questions that everybody has? Like, what are those 5 questions that everybody has? Do you guys know what they are? Raise your hand if you know when people come in your office, you pretty much know what they're going to ask you, right? So those are the things you start with. Start with the frequently asked questions. Now, another great thing to do is you go into Google and you search for a keyword related to your practice area. So if you're a criminal defense attorney, you can search DUI. You can search assault and battery. You can search stalking. You can search whatever you want, right? And if you scroll down, you're going to see a section that says people also ask. And that is going to have a list of questions that people ask on Google, that actually they type into Google, right? So if you ever run out of topics to talk about, just start going there and start looking at the questions that people are actually typing into Google, the questions, like the real questions that people are asking, and you will come up with 1,000,001 topics. All right, I want to share I want to actually play a couple videos for you.
Hey guys, I'm super excited.
This is like my
about our
first
latest
video.
guide
It's
that we're
so
putting
bad.
out, and it's going to be available starting
Look at
today,
those dead
completely
eyes.
free on our website. The guide is called
Hey
How
guys,
to Hire an Internet Marketing
look at my
Company
first
for Your
video.
Law
It's
Firm
so bad.
and hold them accountable.
All right,
So I
turn it
wanted
off,
to
turn it
put
off.
this
It's
guide
so
out
bad.
for a
It's so
long
bad.
time, and
It's
I was
so
kind of
bad.
inspired.
It's so bad. But my point is that, you know, there's an evolution to these things where you start out really bad and then you get better and then you get better and then you get okay, right? You eventually are proud of how bad you used to be. And then in terms of how far you've, the fact that it took me 8 hours, that's a cool story to tell now because it shows how far I've come and it shows everything that I've overcome to get to that point, right? All right, so what we're going to talk about next is we're going to talk about scripting and recording your videos, right? Because the way that you record your videos and what you say in your videos is the most important thing, especially the beginning of the video when you actually get somebody, the first 5 seconds of the video is what's going to draw them in and make them actually watch your videos. Now, most attorneys want to start their video with, "Hi, my name is Attorney Andy, and I'm a family law attorney, and I've been fighting for families since 1984, and blah, blah, blah." And by that point, nobody even knows what they say after that because they've already changed the video, right? So what you really want to do in your videos, and this is the most important thing that you can do in any of your videos, is you have to have a hook. You have to have a hook that hooks them in and grabs their attention right away, right? Now, I like starting by asking a question that is either controversial or talks about some sort of pain or something like that. So I recently did a video, and I asked a question. I said, "Why are bad lawyers rich?" It's a good question, right? Or I could ask, "Do you have to be a bad lawyer to be a rich lawyer?" Or I could ask, Did you know that law school programmed you to be poor? Here's 3 ways they did it." So these are interesting. Like, who's kind of interested in what I said after that in that video, right? So the point is that you've got to say something that kind of jars them a little bit. So when you're creating content, there's 2 things to think about. There's away from pain and toward pleasure, right? Now, when you're creating a hook, you always want your hook to be leading them away from pain, because strangers are more likely to allow somebody that they don't know to lead them away from pain than toward pleasure. So imagine you're walking downtown, like a downtown area, somebody's passing out $100 bills. Say, free $100 bills, free $100 bills. Is anyone going to just walk up and just take that $100 bill and just think, "Oh, cool, that's a perfectly reasonable thing for somebody to be doing"? Right? You're going to be skeptical, right? Because I'm 40 years old. I've never seen somebody just passing out free $100 bills. So you'd be like, "Okay, yeah, what's the catch?" Like, I'm probably going to get it, and it's going to have that whole Jesus loves you thing on it. You know, like how they drop them and everything. So I'm like, I'm skeptical. I don't believe that this person's actually going to be helping me. Now, imagine you're walking downtown, and you trip and you fall and you bump your head and your head's bleeding, and a stranger runs up to you and gives you like a towel and they help you on your feet, and they help you up and they help you sit down and everything, and they say, "Give me your phone." And you hand them your cell phone. You're probably going to hand the phone unlocked so that they can call somebody to help, right? You're going to let that stranger help you in that situation, right? Because people are more likely to allow strangers to allow them out of pain, away from pain, than toward pleasure. So the same thing with your messaging. Your messaging should be getting them away from pain rather than toward pleasure. So if it's child custody with a father, there's 2 ways you could take that approach. It could be, here are 3 ways that fathers can get more time with their kids. It's good, right? But if we're taking the away from pain, here are 3 ways fathers can avoid losing a relationship with their child. Here's 3 ways that mothers trick fathers into losing their relationship with their children, right? So there's lots of different nuances and lots of different angles that you can take with that one thing. But you want to think about, how can whenever you create content, you want to think, am I leading them away from pain or am I leading them toward pleasure, right? Now, conversely, if you're talking to people that you already know, so if we're talking to a warm audience, if I'm talking to everybody in this room, I'm going to talk to you guys toward pleasure, because once you trust somebody, then you will allow somebody then you will allow them to lead you toward pleasure. So it's very nuanced, but it's very important. So the default you should lean into, though, is leading them away from pain, right? And it's subtle, but it's very important. So the hook is the most important part of the video. And if you look at how a video is structured, any of your content is structured. And the cool thing is that once you understand this format, you can do this over and over and over again, and it's really easy. So if you structure your video, if you look at your video like this, it's going to be hook up top here. And then this big section is going to be either a story or value. And then at the bottom, it's going to be offer. So, hook. The hook has got to be something very, 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 very juicy, right? Something to capture their attention right away. It shouldn't be your name. It shouldn't be your qualifications. It shouldn't be like that. It should be talking about what is it that they want and, what pain are you going to lead them away from. So that's the hook. The second part is going to be the story. Now, the story is the meat of the actual video. And the reality is that stories perform way better than just facts and figures. So if you can tell a story, if you can weave a story into it, especially if it's a story about, it doesn't have to necessarily be a client. It can be a story that you heard from another attorney. It can be an anecdote. If you turn it into a story, people will remember stories way better than they'll just remember you just talking to them, right? So what you want to do is you want to actually tell a story that will support the hook and deliver some value. And then finally, you have your offer. Now, your offer should not be call me today for a free consultation, right? Because what happens is people watch afternoon TV and they see all these attorneys that are always saying, call me today for a free consultation. So that's kind of like the standard thing. So you want to be different. So what I like doing is I like talking to the camera like I'm talking to a friend. So I still will have a call to action, but what I'll say is instead of call me for a free consultation, what you want to do is something like, imagine you were talking to like a college roommate, and your college roommate got a DUI or got into a car accident or is going through a divorce or whatever it was. Like this is your friend from college, right? Would you say, oh yeah, sorry to hear you're going through that. Call me Friday for a free consultation. Or would you say, okay, yeah, well, I'll tell you what, send me over your information. I'll take a look and I'll see what we can need to do to help you. And if I can't help you, I'll find somebody that can take care of you, right? Like you can say that same thing and people will contact you, and it still results in a consultation. So you can end your video with, and that's why you shouldn't post videos on social media if you're going through a divorce. So if you have any questions about a social media post about a social media post while you're going through a divorce, or just even a question about the legal process of, custody or anything like that, just shoot me a message, shoot me a text message, give me a call. Happy to answer your questions. And if I can't help you, I'll point in the direction of somebody who can, right? So when you do that, you're encouraging people to reach out. And when you do that, then you can parlay that into a consultation, which then parlays into a client, right? So the soft consultation, the soft call to action, I call it, works really, really well. Remember that the average American reads at an 8th grade level, right? A confused mind always says no. So we have to put that in terms that the average American can understand. Right? Like even a business owner, even an entrepreneur. Has anyone read 5-Star Attorney, my book 5-Star Attorney? Did you guys find it very easy to read? Do you know why? Because I wrote it at an 8th grade level. I literally put it in a software and I made sure that it said grade 8. And this is a book written for attorneys, right? Because I know that a confused mind always says no. So if I want to make sure that the information that I'm putting out there is actually consumed, it has to be done in a way that it's very, very easily consumable. All right, so I'm going to film a video real quick, and I'm going to show you how I would do a video for this actual practice. And if I was going to film a video for this with this hook story offer format, right? And I also want to show you guys that while my first video took 8 hours, I'm now able, because I've done this over and over again, you get to the point where somebody can just give you information that isn't even yours, and you can just create a video out of thin air for it, right? So let me show you how I'd actually do this as a hook story offer format using that hook and that story. Step 1, you're going to pull out your phone, right? And you're going to look at your phone, and you're going to smile. And then you're going to hit record, and then you're going to do the hook, and then you're going to tell a story, and then what's the third thing you're going to do? Offer. All right, cool. Why do entrepreneurs always lose their businesses whenever they're going through a divorce? My name is Attorney Aaron, and I'm a family law attorney who works with entrepreneurs, and I'm going to show you why that's actually not the case. You see, we had a doctor come to me recently, and unfortunately, he was getting a divorce. And he was really concerned that he was going to lose his family practice, the practice that he worked so hard, that he poured his blood, sweat, and tears into, because of the fact that his wife, the soon-to-be ex-wife, also worked in the business. Now, the interesting thing is that she worked in human resources, but he's a doctor. His business, his practice was based off of his personal reputation and also his doctor degree, the fact that, what's it called, medical degree? His medical degree. she had the misconception that because she worked in the business, she owned a very substantial part of the business. And that's actually a common misconception that spouses actually have. The reality is that there's lots of different contributing factors that goes into who contributed what to the business and how much that business is worth. Now, because of this, we were able to weigh those factors, the fact that he's a doctor and that the business is built on his reputation, and she worked in human resources, which is very important, but not a critical element to the business. And we were able to work out a settlement that allowed him to write a single check, keep his business, and walk away. Now, I'm telling you this story because I want you to understand that just because you're going through a divorce does not necessarily mean by default that you're going to lose your business and that your spouse is going to get half. It's very, very important that you understand the intricacies and the nuances that go into running a business and also dividing assets during a divorce. Now, this is something that is very, very difficult to explain in just a YouTube video, but I want you to know that there are options out there, and it's really, really important that you talk to a professional who actually has experience so that you don't get run over the coals in this entire situation. So listen, just so you know, you're not necessarily going to lose your business, but if you do have questions about how to divide a business in a divorce or how to divide assets during a divorce, I'm happy to help. Leave a comment below this video or call me at the office. My cell phone number is 123-123-1234, and I'm happy to help you. And if I can't help you, I will certainly point you in the direction of somebody that can. I hope this video was helpful. Enjoy running your business, move on with your life, and I will talk to you soon. So, now, here's the thing. I stumbled over my words a few times, and probably I could do that better, right? But you see how the general format, really, that would be a usable video. So, and if you do that every single day, and if I, obviously I'm not as well versed in the information as you are, but that's all it takes. It's basically just that hook, story, offer format.